Greetings, my name is Hilarie Uwamahoro. Welcome again to my YouTube channel. At this time, I'm going to be presenting about Peter Singer animal liberation. If Peter Singer, a philosopher who calls for animal liberation of freedom. And again, this video is being made for bioethics class that I'm taking at Tuskegee University in fall 2022. Peter Singer is known as the author of a book named Animal Liberation, and that book was published in 1975. And he's known as the most influential living philosopher for his influence in the protection of animal rights and freedom. So the picture shown above on the right side, that's Peter Singer's picture. And why did he call for animal liberation? This is because in 1975 there was also black liberation. Around that time, black people were fighting for their right, liberation, and freedom. And also during around that year, there was women liberation going on, gay liberation, and Hispanic liberation. The origin of liberation movement was with the main objective, which is to call for equality. And when you say equality, it doesn't mean sameness or same right. It doesn't mean that people have to be the same. But equality means equal consideration of interest. And this is the same way that like the right for women and men have been, and equality also for people with disabilities. So equality is defined as equal consideration of interest, not sameness or same right. And as humans, what are our interests? So we have different interests because we want to satisfy our own need. And some of the interests we have physical safety, want to be safe, food and water so that you can survive, to continue being alive. We have interests of shelter, to have environment for the comfortable environment to live in. We have interest of avoiding suffering and pain. We also want to be autonomic, like want to have autonomy so that we can be self-led and have self-determination. We have interests of education, want to be educated to achieve high careers, a future profession. Also have interest in politics and employment as a part of our life. And when we take these interests away from our lives, it's bad. But when we have these interests, when the equal consideration of these interests is good for humankind. And some of the principles, according to Peter Singer's presentation, that's provided by Nobis on YouTube channel, he talked about some principles that varied equal consideration of interests, and some are like racism, when there's unequal consideration of people basing on their race. And another one is sexism, when there's unequal consideration of interests based on sex, like men and women. When there's unequal consideration of interests based on sex, is sexism. And another one is ableism, when people are discriminated or not given equal consideration of interests because of their ability or capacity. Intelligenceism, the fourth point, is also another principle that where where there's unequal consideration of interest based on people's intelligence. And speciesism is the last point, where there's an equal consideration of interest based on species. Like for example, uh, human harming like animals, wild animals, thinking that they're animals, they don't deserve protection, you can just keep it anytime. So that's species, because you are just doing that because it's another species. So non-humans have interest too. So not only humans can feel pain, can suffer, can like starve when there is no food. Also, for non-human animals, interest is the same thing. So, non-human animals, such as, for example, cows, they also have interest of to avoid suffering and feeling pain. They also have the need of food and water for their survival. They also need an appropriate environment. Excuse me. In addition, they need freedom of movement, companionship. They need to be in a space, a good environment, shelter where they can associate with their calves, their babies, and graze fresh grass. They also, and that's a part of their lifestyle that creates pressure to them. And also, are always trying to avoid death. So, but according to Peter Singer, a speech a presentation in Grow Force 2014 video, animals are not given equal consideration of interest at all. So Peter Singer was presenting in that video posted by Griffiths 2004 by giving some important references. Like, for example, in the Bible, Genesis, in the book of Genesis, uh, he projected like God said, "Let us make a man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing on the earth." So this reference shows how God created a man, a human being, as a person with consciousness and the capability to have dominion over animals such as fish and bird, fowl. And that should give us a reason why we have to protect animals and always look for their welfare. And because God gave us that authority, so we should use it in in appropriate way. And another reference that Peter Singer provided was Aristotle's phrase that says, "Plants exist for the sake of animals, and brute beasts for the sake of a man." So the fact that plant animals live for the sake of us, we should take care of animals in all activities we do. And the last reference is by Thomas Aquinas, what he said: "It matters how many behave to animals, because had rejected all things to man power." So God has given that power, and we should use it appropriately. Um, and the fact that animals have interests, we have to give them equal consideration of their interests, irrespective of their species, because we even share the same evolution story. So, and we are even anatomically and physically related. So we should take that into consideration and always seek for the equal consideration of interest. This picture here project the chickens, how they are raised for commercial purposes. And these chickens are like it's 1,000 of them living together, and they raised within short period of time for 2 weeks. I mean, for two, sorry, it's for 2 days, which are equivalent to 6 weeks. So, and that's why the chickens most of the times are cheap, because they're grown that way. They are fed in a way they grow faster, and they are overpopulated. And some die because of the condition they're growing, and that's not fair for them. So in Europe Union made a great move in 2001, where they gave a notice of banning the confinement of animals. So animals that have been in danger, and European Union announced the notice of ban 2001, but it became effective in 2003. And in USA, in states like Arizona, Florida, Oregon, Colorado, and California, that uh, confinement ban for animals became effective in 2002 and 8. So this graph here shows on y-axis we have the number of motion pictures per year and number of motion pictures per year in which animals were harmed. So we see that before around 1975, when Peter Singer was publishing his book on animal liberation, animals number of motion pictures per year that were harmed were so many. And as the years moved on, like for example, if you compare the data obtained in 1975 to 2000 or 1995, we see that there was a tremendous, like it was sharp decrease in the number of animals that were being harmed. So this showed that his movement, the animal liberation movement, has been playing a good role in ensuring that the animal welfare and rights are protected. And ethical theories that I would like to discuss about the uh, observations of Peter Singer's an animal liberation book and the presentation that he had made is just that animals deserve right to have pleasure, uh, to have appropriate shelter, we deserve right not to confront pain and suffering, so they deserve to be free, and human beings should take into consideration that and give them the rights they deserve. And another ethical theory is the deontology, and this means that we have obligation or duties to protect animals. So, like in Genesis, the book of Genesis, the Bible, God gave dominion. God gave human dominion over animals. So that's the power that we're given. We should use it to protect ourselves and the animals as well. Pacifism, we should always seek for what brings animal peace, and we should always remember that the peace we want to have is also what other species want to get. So there should be equal consideration of interest. So yes, they have to benefit us, and but we don't have to exploit them. There should not be exploitation of animals. There should not be confinement of animals. So, and we should not be treating them in the way they don't deserve to be. um, they should always be in a safe environment. So, because all those they contribute to their peace, because they deserve also right. They can feel that suffering and pain like the way human beings behave. Because we share, in the previous said I explained we share the same anatomy and physiology and even evolution. So that means they are surviving the same way we are surviving or living. Another point is beneficence, where we should always do what will benefit animals instead of harming them. So instead of maleficence, we should always be looking for beneficence and always seek for what benefit this kind of other species. Yeah. Thank you. These are the references I used to develop this video presentation. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.